When it comes to releasing your creations, you have a number of options for controlling who can see it and how they can use it. Your release options differ slightly depending on whether your creation is an element, a scene, a dream, or a collection. But the first step to releasing any creation is to quick save to your console. You can do this in the options menu. The first time you quick save in edit mode, you'll need to decide whether you've created an element or a scene. Elements are individual things like characters, sculptures, pieces of music. They're the building blocks of scenes. Scenes are self-contained audio-visual experiences like game levels. They can be connected together in a dream. An important difference between scenes and elements is that elements can be stamped into other creations. So if you're making something that you might want to use again and again, like a piece of music or a character, make sure you save it as an element. However, elements can't be put into dreams. So if what you've created is a game level, make sure you save it as a scene. Once you've decided what your creation is, give it a name and a quick save will be stored on your console. There's only one quick save slot for each creation, so each time you quick save, you'll overwrite the previous one. If you don't want to overwrite your save, you can save a version instead. Saving a version has a few options that vary depending on the type of creation it is. But the first thing to decide is where you want to save that version, on your system or online. Saving to your system is a good way to back up your work in progress, and you'll be able to access it even when you're offline. No one else will be able to see or play your creation, and you can delete creations that you don't want anymore. Your local storage is limited to 1 GB of data or 256 individual creations. Saving a version online, meanwhile, means it will always be there, so you'll never lose your masterpiece, and you can access it from any other console you log into. If you do choose to save online, you'll need to decide who can access it and what they can do with it. If you save a version as private, only you and any collaborators you've invited will be able to access it. Private elements will not appear in Dreamiverse searches or genealogy, but you and your collaborators can still use them in your scenes. The last option, the one at the top, is to release the creation as public, so it can be seen on the Dreamiverse by everyone. Releasing an element as public means that anyone can remix it, as well as stamp it in their creations. Once released public, you can't make that version private again, although you can save newer versions privately. When releasing a scene, you can choose whether to make it public or playable. The key difference between these two options is that playable scenes cannot be remixed by other players in the Dreamiverse. It's important to note that you can't release a creation as public if it contains privately saved elements. But if a scene contains private elements, you can still release it as playable. Once a scene is released as public, it can't then be made playable. Dreams and collections can only be released as playable, and their owners are the only ones that can make remixes. Online versions can't be deleted, although you can unlist the creation from searches. Once you've decided how you want to release a version, you'll have the option to write some version notes to list the changes made in this save. Then simply press the big green tick button in the corner to confirm your save. One of the great things about saving a version is that you can go back to it. Scroll right on a creation's cover page to view its versions and release log. Every saved version of that creation is accessible from here. If there is a released version, you'll see it highlighted in green. You can also choose to release a different version from here, or edit an older version. If you limit your version saves to significant updates, the history will be much easier to keep track of. And if you've used version notes, it'll be even easier to see what was changed and when. Marvellous. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more helpful how-tos as well as lots of other stuff.